BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says Bitcoin could, quote, revolutionize finance in an interview with Fox Business on Wednesday. Previously known as a skeptic, Fink's comments come after the iShares unit of BlackRock filed paperwork with the SEC for that spot Bitcoin ETF that we've been talking about. Feels like forever, but it's only been like a week and a half. Will, I'll toss it off to you. What do you make of Larry Fink's comments?
I kind of walked away with frustration on Twitter because basically this video was plastered everywhere. You couldn't scroll on the feed yesterday without seeing this video pop up. Now, to like the substance of it itself, really great stuff, and also really intriguing that the fact that he was saying this. Of course, like you said, Jen, this comes after the FTX or after the ETF news that they are pushing forward with it, with the surveillance agreement with Coinbase. They've refiled, and they're in the running with all these other ETFs who have filed over the years. Now, his comments in the video were two parts, right? One part about crypto being an asset class, and the second about Bitcoin specifically being digital gold. Now, not to read into it too much, because a lot of times people in these positions who sort of have like a wider understanding of the financial space, but not necessarily crypto or Bitcoin in general, they kind of use the terms interchangeably. So it's hard to know really what he was saying there. Is he a Bitcoin bull and thinks of Bitcoin as gold? Or does he think of all crypto sort of having gold-like quantities about it? It's hard to know. I would assume it's probably the former. They think like Bitcoin has some gold-like tendencies, and all these other digital assets could have properties that are emergent and useful over time. And that leads me to my second thought, maybe conclusion from this is maybe this is not the only ETF they're going to put forward, right? Like, it's not only going to be a Bitcoin ETF. Maybe there's an Ethereum ETF in the future. Maybe there's another token as well. Maybe there's a basket of tokens that incorporates things like a Coinbase or a Bitcoin miner and Bitcoin or Ethereum, stuff like that. So I think there's more on the horizon if you're seeing the head of this huge company going forward and promoting something like that. Wendy?
Do you really want my take? I feel like it's a little bit too early for my take, guys.
Okay, we'll get to Sam and then you.
All right, you know what? Okay, give it to Sam and then trying to catch my breath here. Okay, give it to Sam.
I'll make a quick take. I wrote down like one of the quotes here about how he was talking about, when he was praising the virtues of blockchain technology, he talks about when you have a quote unquote pure blockchain. And then he's like, if you know who the buyers and sellers are, then, it's a positive thing for the financial ecosystem. So first off, I have no idea what a quote unquote pure blockchain is. I guess Bitcoin would be in some senses. I don't know if he knows what whatever. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about when it comes to any of that. So I do take some of it with a grain of salt. And he talks about if you know who the buyers and sellers are, that's kind of antithetical to the Bitcoin maxis, I would assume, when it comes to the privacy of this technology. We still don't know who Satoshi is, and I think that still is a core principle. So anyway, one thing that this reminded me of, without actually putting any opinion on it myself, is just the fact that I do think that there is, again, going back to ironies, this weird thing that we find in these bear markets where the same folks who are espousing the benefits of blockchain technology when it comes to getting rid of intermediaries, adding transparency, but also increasing privacy. Those folks are all very excited when institutions come in and kind of in this ham-fisted way talk about the technology and bringing it to more people. How does this actually democratize Bitcoin? I don't know, for it to be an ETF when you could easily just go on Coinbase and buy Bitcoin right now. Anyway, I don't know. I don't have full opinions. I just think it's kind of funny to see people excited about this thing that
when is going to explode.
I'm so triggered right now. Oh, sorry. All right, let me just read the tweet that I put out because I'm so triggered.
That's what you wanted the time for.
I said, BlackRock is about to be accepted by the Bitcoin maxis. I thought the point was removing third-party predators and being your own bank. Self-custody will die. More importantly, I'm excited to get rich and ride the grift wave. I own Bitcoin. I've invested in Bitcoin. I'm excited because I'm going to make a lot of money. My whole thing is yes, Bitcoin is open source. It is for everybody. That's great. Fantastic. Fine. But the goal is to remove the banks, to remove traditional finance, to remove these entities that create gaps between the rich and the poor. Bitcoin allows for anybody to participate, and that's what we're seeing now. And I personally believe with this BlackRock ETF or all of the other ETFs that are getting integrated, that will probably get integrated, it's going to continue to make people lazy in the United States and not want to actually self-custody their Bitcoin. You're giving your Bitcoin to like a fourth party to hold for you. Yes, that's okay for retirement. I get it. But at the same time, isn't this supposed to be digital gold? Isn't this supposed to be a hedge against the collapsing banking system and all of these other third-party predators? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. But again, I'm more than happy to profit off of it and make a lot of money as more capital gets injected by the big boys. So that's my take on it.
I think this is a win for the space, honestly, Wendy. I agree with you. I think that's the goal, but it's not going to happen tomorrow, right? And if we juxtapose this story against that FTX story we just spoke about, here we have this huge traditional finance figurehead that's coming out and saying, actually, I changed my tune. Like, before I was a skeptic on this thing. Now I kind of believe in it for all of these reasons. And there's this ETF, which just gives another option to people. People can still hold their Bitcoin. They can still self-custody. Yes, maybe they're lazy and they're going to opt for something else, but maybe they'll get there eventually. I don't think this is going to change overnight. And I think when we talk about mainstream adoption, having someone who's been out in the public so adamantly against the space change their mind, especially when stories like that New York Times piece are coming out, I think it's a win. Will?
Yeah, we only got a few seconds here. So I will disagree with Wendy. I think that decentralization is a spectrum and that some people will be able to self-custody, which is the best option. Some people won't want to do that, and they're going to need an ETF product with their broker. And it's okay, because everyone will have Bitcoin where they need it. And hopefully more people self-custody over time. But that option is there for the first time in human history, right? A lot of times we didn't have the ability to do that. So the fact that Bitcoin presents that option is
Sam,
good.
are you with Wendy?
Hold up, guys. We do actually have traditional finance folks that create custom SEPs, 401ks, IRAs with Bitcoin. I actually participate in one to help offset taxes, and that's the only reason why, so I pay less. But we already have those products available. So that's all I'm saying. Sam, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything. Did somebody ask me something?
Yeah, I said, are you with Wendy? Because Will and I are respectfully on the other side of this argument.
Not
I
respectfully.
honestly don't really have a side on the argument. I feel like it's, look,
Mushy
the
middle,
way I
no
view
fun.
it is it's always just funny to see us in these bear markets getting excited when the traditional people come in and then spurning them at the top and then, welcoming them back at the bottom. It's just this cycle that we see. I sound very cynical